Good morning, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day on Monday, July 28, 2014. It's around 7:50 in Billerica, Massachusetts. Cloudy today, chance of rain and thunder showers. Some of them could be severe thunder showers with lightning, hail, and damaging winds. Be careful out there. But this is going to be the last day of the downpours and rain and dismal weather and the mugginess, because it's going to be thrown out, and clear and comfortable and summertime weather, 75 to 80 with low humidity, is going to be with us for the rest of the week and maybe into the weekend, and we deserve it. Get out and enjoy these summer days with nice out, because winter's coming and we don't want to hear about that yet. In August, the crickets are chirping and the daylight's getting shorter. Especially, you get to notice that. And also, RDT's going to come back, and he's going to save Market Basket, and stay strong, Market Basket employees and Market Basket customers. It's all going to work out. RDT's coming back soon. Very soon. Okay? My first video blog of the day is about the 1989 WWE feud between Randy Macho Man Savage and Hulk Hogan. This feud was probably the best WWE feud in 1989, and it stems from going several years back, because when Macho Man Randy Savage first entered the WWE in 1985, he had a 3-match series with Hulk Hogan at Madison Square Garden. Savage won the first match by countout. The second one was a double disqualification, and a third match to blow off the feud at MSG was a lumberjack match where Hogan won decisively. And also they had several house shows in 1986 throughout the country. And 1987, Macho Man Randy Savage turned face, and he was facing off against the Honky Tonk Man at Saturday night's main event for the Intercontinental Championship. And the Honky Tonk Man was beating Randy Savage up. He had help with the Hart Foundation, who were WWE Tag Team Champions at the time, Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Knight Hart. And Honky was going for the guitar, and Miss Elizabeth, Randy Macho Man Savage's manager, tries to prevent the Honky Tonk Man from hitting Randy Savage, but Honky Tonk Man shoves Miss Elizabeth down, and then she walks away and goes to the locker room. And then with the Hart Foundation holding Randy Macho Man Savage, the Honky Tonk Man hits Savage with a guitar, and they continue to beat him up until WWE Champion Hulk Hogan comes on the scene and cleans house. And then Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan are going to try to fight, but then Miss Elizabeth says they don't want to see the fight, and then they become friends and allies, and that's how the Mega Powers form. Then for the WWE WrestleMania 4, the WWE Championship Finals, Randy Macho Man Savage faced the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase had Andre the Giant in his corner, and then Miss Elizabeth goes to the dressing room and brings Hulk Hogan, and to even the odds. And when Hogan, the $1 Million Man, has the $1 Million Dream on Randy Savage, he's going to win the WWE Championship. The referee was distracted by Andre. Hogan hits the $1 Million Man with a chair, and then Savage delivers the elbow off the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Savage becomes the new WWE Champion, and Hogan protects the stuff. And Hogan actually had it. This was done because Hogan had it disappear for a few months to film his movie No Holds Barred. That's why Savage became the champion. And during the summer of 1988, Randy Savage was attacked by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and Andre the Giant on an interview segment, and they injured his neck. And during some house shows, Savage had to wear a neck brace when he faced the $1 Million Man. And then a couple of weeks later, in an interview segment, Macho Man Randy Savage says he's got a partner for Andre the Giant and $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and was Hulk Hogan coming back from filming the movie No Holds Barred, and then they say he said to them, Elizabeth's our manager, and that's that started to plant the seeds for a feud later on, and then Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan faced off against the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant at the main event at SummerSlam 1988 at Madison Square Garden with Jesse the Body Ventura, the referee, special guest referee. It was Mega Powers, Savage and Hogan against Mega Butts, $1 Million Man, and Andre the Giant, and it was a good tag team match. At the end, Miss Elizabeth walks on the apron and she distracts the heels, and also Bobby the Brain Heenan and Virgil, and she strips down to show a very little bikini bottom. Was pretty good, and the Mega Powers won when Hogan pinned the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase with a leg drop, and Ventura went counting 1, 2, and he was not going to count 3, but Savage smacks his hand for down to 3, and that was about it. Then you come to Survivor Series 1988 with Hulk Hogan and Randy Macho Man Savage co-captaining a team with like Coco Beware, Hillbilly Jim, and Hercules against Akeem and Big Boss Man and Haku and the Red Rooster and $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and it was an elimination match, and it was like Hogan was handcuffed to the ropes for a while, and they were beat like Savage was taking a beating, and then Miss Elizabeth gets the key and unhandcuffs Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan makes his comeback and wins the Survivor Series elimination match for his team. Him and Macho Man were the sole survivors, but then you started to see the jealousy because Hogan was after Miss Elizabeth, and Savage was a little bit jealous. The jealousy continued on the next Saturday night's main event when Hulk Hogan faced off against Akeem, and then Miss Elizabeth got too close to the action, and then the Boss Man put the handcuffs on her, ready to handcuff her, but Macho Man Randy Savage came and made the rescue, but then he kind of had dissension with Miss Elizabeth. And Royal Rumble 1989, this dissension continued, where like Hulk Hogan accidentally eliminates Macho Man Randy Savage, and then they're ready to beat them up, ready to fight, but Miss Elizabeth prevents them, and they shake hands, and then on the Brother Love show to promote a main match they're going to have on the main event between the Mega Powers and the Twin Towers, Akeem and the Big Boss Man, Hulk Hogan was like saying he loved Miss Elizabeth like a sister, and Macho Man got a little bit jealous, but they didn't play off, they were buddy-buddy, and then the match on the main event, February 1989, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage against the Twin Towers, Akeem and the Big Boss Man, and halfway like through the match, like Randy Macho Man Savage goes over the top rope and he falls on Miss Elizabeth. Miss Elizabeth's out cold, and Hogan comes and grabs Miss Elizabeth and takes her away to the first aid room, and Macho Man gets a little mad and jealous, and then Akeem and the Big Boss Man continue to beat up Macho Man. Hogan's crying, saying, please don't let her die, please don't let her die, because Randy didn't mean to do it, and then something out of Rocky comes up. Miss Elizabeth wakes up and says, go save Randy, and then he runs out of the first aid room and goes back to the ring, but when Savage sees Hogan, he tags him, slaps him in the face, and walks away, and Hogan gets beat up by the Twin Towers, but he makes a comeback. Hogan's up and he wins the match, and then afterwards he goes back to the locker room, and then he says, he gets mad at Randy, saying that, why did you leave me? I was helping Miss Elizabeth and stuff. You abandoned me. You have lust for me and stuff like that, and they jealous, and this over the belt, and then Hogan gets attacked by Randy Savage, and then Savage puts Miss Elizabeth, and he's going to hit Hogan with the belt, but Brutus the Barber Beefcake comes in and saves him, but Brutus gets beat up, and then the promo starts from the main event at WrestleMania 5 between Hogan and Savage. Savage is now a heel, and then they're saying that Hogan had lust for Mr. Elizabeth and him, and then these promos get going and going. Saturday night's main event before WrestleMania, Miss Elizabeth says she was not going to be in the corner of Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. She would be in a neutral corner. And then when WrestleMania 5 rolls around, it was a classic great match, and Savage grabs Mrs. Elizabeth and uses as a shield for Hogan not to hit him. And then the match continues and continues, and then afterwards, like, the referee sends Miss Elizabeth to the back because she was a distraction, and Savage beats up Hogan, and several 2 counts, but Hogan makes a comeback, beats him, and then beats him 1, 2, 3 for the bout. And then this continues on, this feud continues on through house shows. Randy Macho Man Savage hires Sensational Sally as his manager, and Hogan has Miss Elizabeth as his manager, and they go around the house show circuit. And this continues in SummerSlam 1989, where Hogan teamed with Brutus the Barber for Beefcake to face off against Randy Macho Man Savage and actor turned wrestler Zeus, who was one of the worst wrestlers of all time. Hogan and Beefcake win the match, and then Miss Elizabeth slaps Sherry. Hogan and Savage's feud continues on throughout the house show circuit and stuff through the fall, and then they have another match to promote No Holds Barred movie. The match in a steel cage match was Hogan and Beefcake against Savage and Zeus, and it was taped. It was a pay-per-view match / movie. You saw the movie first, and then you saw the match, and Hogan and Beefcake beat Savage and Zeus, and that almost put the end to that tag team feud. But Hogan and Savage had one more major match. It was on the main event, February 1990, with Buster Douglas as the referee. It was originally going to be Mike Tyson as the referee, and rumor has it Mike Tyson was going to knock out Hogan accidentally, costing Hogan the title, and Savage would win it. But it was changed because Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas in a boxing match in Japan a couple of weeks earlier, and McMahon didn't feel like an unknown world champion boxer knock out Hogan accidentally, so it was changed. Hogan beat Savage 1, 2, 3, and then that ended that feud, and Buster Douglas knocked out Randy Savage after the match. This was a very good feud. The build-up was great. Savage was a great heel on this. It was originally, I thought Hogan was going to turn heel on Randy Savage when they were promoting this, when they were building the tension up, but Hogan still sold a lot of merchandise for the kids back in 1989 and stuff, and I think they didn't want to have Hogan turn heel on Savage at all, because probably the profits of the sales for the kids and the merchandise for Hogan would take a hit, and WWE would take a hit, just like they always want to turn John Cena, but they won't ever turn John Cena anytime soon. And Hogan and Savage's feud was one of the best of all time in the WWE, and they had some matches in WCW, but that feud in WCW could not match it in the WWE. That's about it on that. I'll be back later on with more video blogs, okay? Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye, and RDT.